Greetings in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is your host, Dr. David D. King with Kingdom Holistic Health Ministry, and I am back with the doctors. And I know they got some good to talk about with you guys on this morning. Tag your neighbors, tag your friends. If you got questions that you need answers, I invite you to write them into the comment section, and we can go ahead and get them to the doctors and let the doctor answer them. So this is your Monday morning checkup with Dr. J and Dr. CHARISSE. We're going to bring them on. Welcome, welcome, and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
We're ready. Bring it on.
Happy to be sharing another wonderful day. We are so blessed in our lives. I think we really don't even realize how blessed we are, and it's really interesting to see all the different types of people we're helping at the moment with the scan and the AO scanner. We are able to identify problems before they develop, which is such a huge blessing, because how could you even do research on something, on a disease that you were able to prevent?
Yes. Dr. J?
Yeah, loving it. Same thing. Things are rocking and rolling here, and people are, reaching out, and that helps. One thing I mentioned is that, scanning is just one application that we're doing. We have multiple modalities and therapies that Dr. Houston and I use. We're not a one-stop shop. That being said, what we're talking about, throughout Kingdom Ministries is a lifestyle. And what we need you to kind of wrap your head around is that, just when you have an illness, that's when everything stops and becomes your priority. So you only have one concern, getting better. But when you're healthy, you got a million things going on and you're not paying attention. So the point is, think about that for a second. What's the most important thing in your life? Your total health. If you lose that, you lose everything. I don't care if you have all the money of Bill Gates. I don't care. If you have all the money in the world, it won't help you if you get a terminal diagnosis. So that being said, what we're talking about on this show every week is lifestyle. We're talking about how you create a healthier lifestyle. Journal of American Medical Association said in the year 2000, they said only a 10% of a patient's health outcome can be affected by doctors, nurses, and hospitals and drugs. Only 10%. 90% is up to the individual.
Right.
I want to say that again. Only 10% of a patient's health outcome can be affected by drugs, surgery, everything that you know about and you go and get. Only 10%. 90% by the Journal of American Medical Association's own admission is the patient's responsibility. So what does that mean? It means that's why you're listening. We're talking about things every day, and Dr. Houston's got some great information to share with you right away, is that the more you know about you and how you can keep yourself healthy, that's 90% of everything that happens to you. And that's why I always say, man, you never know the disease you prevent. So if you start a lifestyle, you eat better, you start taking supplements, you start getting scanned, you start finding out where the hiccups are, and we tackle those, they don't become big problems. It's the old adage, you can pay now or you can pay later. So a couple of people that we've had come through the scans have said, well, I didn't know that I had to buy supplements. I didn't know I had to do this and do that and do that. Well, we're not just scanning you to say, hey, you got acne, have a nice day. We're scanning you to say why you have acne and what you need to do to fix it.
Yes.
Sometimes that's going to require supplementation because, as you know, the food industry is meant to hurt you. 63% of everything in a supermarket is ultra processed. They're going to kill you if you keep eating that crap. Okay. Right. Knock it off. Pay attention. Wake up. Start taking herbs. Get foods into your body. Whole food, whole nutrition, whole prayer, whole water. You got to start thinking about what can I do every day? Not run to the doctor when you're sick. You're making a mistake. That doesn't mean you don't use emergency medicine. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is 90% of your health is your responsibility. Therefore, pay attention to what we're trying to teach you. I would appreciate that. Thanks for that public service announcement.
Well said, and I concur.
Okay.
Well, I actually was speaking with someone. I was at a wedding in Philly this weekend, and so it always intrigues me how people think. Dr. J and I are definitely out of the box thinkers because we have seen through our life experience as well as our profession and training just how much more power we actually do have to navigate the direction of our health. And that's why we're kind of taking the gloves off here, and we want to make sure that you understand that we're not here to treat any disease. We're not here to condemn. This is a judgment-free zone. But when I was at this wedding this weekend, this person that I know who's very holistically minded was diagnosed with MS. And as I was going on with the conversation with this individual, I mean, it's still in all, I've had people heal under my care historically from MS. So I wonder, if we name something, again, we go back to that name it, claim it, Dr. King. You become what you associate with and who you associate with. So I was asking her, have you read or researched where are your thoughts with this? Are you researching people and protocols that have helped to reverse the problem? Or are you studying the disease?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're two different pathways. You got to know, yes, what you're dealing with, but if, I guess we live as though we are going to do, and we eat foods. I'm going to include Dr. J and Dr. King in here. We are taking active steps to prevent that so that, God forbid, we can't control all the variables, but we would already be doing all the natural historical things to promote vibrant health, because creating vibrant health is a different pathway than treating and chasing a disease. And what our traditional healthcare system or disease care system has taught us is that most people start studying the disease. And they don't step back into that. Well, what can I do? It's like they almost feel helpless, and they just put their health in the hands of the other traditional practitioners, which I'm not saying that's entirely wrong. But I am saying that you have to, if you want to create vibrant health, you have to focus on those protocols that are actually reversing the issues at hand, because medically they still don't know what causes MS, multiple sclerosis. Okay. When you get the plaquing in the brain. And I heard over the news over the weekend that, we've got a new breakthrough in medicine that they're going to start removing those plaques in the brain for Alzheimer's, and that's going to be the cure. Well, that's really great. But if we don't have to go in and remove the plaque, I mean, that's a surgical procedure.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Why don't we figure out where the plaquing is coming from? What is malfunctioning in the body, first and foremost, that it would produce the plaquing in the first place? It's the thinking. How are we thinking? How are we going to actively go after creating? Because I'll tell my patients, we know what's wrong with you. You have nerve interference. Chiropractically, your body isn't functioning by design the way it's supposed to. So let's get it working right and then build on that. You can choose to chase the pain, but just because the pain is gone doesn't mean the problem's gone. We have to dig a little deeper than that, because the majority of our health issues in America are caused by stress, emotional, chemical, physical, spiritual. So, digging deep into that, I had this conversation because I wanted her, because we get stuck in this track where we study the disease and then we start looking for the rest of the symptoms, and sure enough, they manifest, and we don't feel like we have any power. Well, I'm here to tell you, you do have power, but you've got to think differently. You have to follow a different set of protocols. And you have to get your body and your mind trained up on the word which, our bodies were designed to heal. We were created in the image and likeness of the Most High God. So if our body produces a problem, it can reverse it. It can heal it, because the power that made the body is the power that heals the body. It doesn't happen any other way. But you do have power. You have power through your words. You have power through your thoughts. You have power through healing emotions. You have power through, as Dr. J said, eating live foods that are going to be very helpful to your body instead of creating more toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Exactly. And, we never run out of things to talk about on this show. And, David, sometimes I think you sit back, you just let the ball roll down the hill. I appreciate that. But we always want to keep things in perspective. I'll share this with you, and I'll try to make it brief. About 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, right? And they gave me 5 years to live. And, that's a shock, considering I was a doctor. I ate all these healthy foods, did everything right. How could I get kidney cancer, right? Well, long story short, a lot of it had to do with my youth and many, many things that happened in my youth. I was a mess. That being said, I had a very slow growing tumor in the cancer. And the bottom line is, you got to do something. You can sit back and cry. You can sit back and be told they're going to gut you like a fish. You can sit there and pray and do little pink ribbons for chemotherapy. I wasn't going to do any of that. What I was going to do is take personal responsibility. I had to go out and say, okay, if this is what I'm dealing with, this is what my patients deal with. So I'm going to tackle this head on. You have to get started. And that's the message I want to send through to everyone that's listening today is let's get started. Okay. You're sitting back doing nothing. Jesus, may I keep focused on doing what I can rather than getting discouraged. And that's the problem. When you're faced with cancer, you get discouraged. I was sad. I said goodbye to my daughters. I was scared, right? But I dusted off my boots. I remember what Jesus said, get started. And so that's what I did. I started doing things like pawpaw, which is a type of fruit that grows in trees in Indiana and Ohio, right? I started using 4 herbs that grow in a ditch in Wisconsin. Burdock root, sheep sorrel, Turkish rhubarb, and slippery elm. So I just used 5 things that are in the state of Wisconsin, in the Midwest. And I had any kidney cancer. And my oncologist, my urologist, all scratched their head and said, we don't understand what you do. And I said, well, do you want to know what I did? And this is the answer they gave me. No, because we can't prescribe that anyway.
Right.
So you tell me what a great job I did at ridding a disease from my body with the help of God and the nature herbs that were provided to me, right? And prayer. And you're going to try and tell me, oh, it's great what you did, but we really don't want to know what you did. That's what's wrong with the system. Now, is that going to work for everybody? No, I would never say that. It worked for me. But those are the kinds of things that we would like to introduce to you, right? And through a scan, we can kind of see where the imbalances are, whether you're up or down, left or right, too much or not enough. That's all Dr. Houston and I care about. We're not here to diagnose you. I don't care about your diagnosis. What I care about is where are you in or out of balance? End of story. You all know what that's like. There's days you woke up and you feel out of balance. Imagine your whole body like that. So we're bringing to you a scan. It says, here's where you start. And you must get started or you're never going to get anything done, right? You have to take action. Make a call. We'll tell you to do that. Get in touch with us. We'll get a scan. We'll get you on some good supplements. We'll talk about your diet. We'll talk about your lifestyle. We'll talk about your emotions. And yes, we will make sure Jesus is standing next to you while you do it.
Right. But there's nothing more powerful than a made up mind.
Correct.
You have to make the decision. It is a decision. I am the head and not the tail.
Yes.
We're going to move the mountain, and you've got to be just that like obstinate about it. You have to be convicted is probably a better word, because when you've seen things heal that we've been told historically are not supposed to heal, I mean, it blows my mind how much we really don't know and how we are really fed a lot of, nonsense. I've seen 3rd-degree burns heal without a single scar. How is that possible?
Yeah.
How is that
Sure.
possible? And there's a whole lot of things. I see Anne on the screen. First, get rid of the parasites, bacteria, mold, and fungus with ivermectin, fenbendazole, then build up our natural immune system. There's no money in healthy, happy, in healthy and happy living. Big AG and big pharma are anti-mankind. Well, they definitely are building a job security if they can keep us sick, don't you think?
Yes.
And then all the protocols are being taught to the new med students.
Mm-hmm.
And God bless them. They go into medicine because they want to help people.
Mm-hmm. I did.
And yeah, exactly. So, but we have so much power and you have to take authority. I was telling this to my daughter. She was having some digestive challenges. I said, girl, when are you going to take authority on this? Because I can tell you, Dr. J has told you things, you've got to do things differently. And then you've got to what? Follow through.
Mm-hmm.
We start feeling better and we start dropping off. Well, why did you start feeling better? Well, because I was taking X, Y, and Z and getting my spine checked. And having your spine checked helps your body to function properly by design. And people are like, I didn't know that you guys deal in neurology. Yeah, that's that's the first thing that was created when you were conceived was your brain and spinal cord, and enveloped and wrapped within the framework of your brain, your skull, and the vertebrae of your spine. So much so that they just did an article not too long ago, The Gut Brain Spine Connection, written by Mitchell B. Leister, MD, with the help of psychologists, co-written with Jay Leister in Psychology Today. I encourage everybody to read this. We've been talking about the gut-brain relationship for the longest time and how it affects your mental health. Well, now they're addressing and finally looking at the relationship with the spine in there as well. You can't talk neurology without talking the spine, but it's all about the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is a cranial nerve, number 10, which has wings or arms that reach, it comes off of your neck and it mandates the function and part of your heart, your breathing, because it regulates the diaphragm, and also your stomach. And if you don't have proper spinal health, it's really hard for you to have a really healthy and vital life.
Mm-hmm.
You can take all these herbs, but your body won't utilize them to the power that it can. So it was really exciting to hear that improved nervous system function following chiropractic care positively influences the gut microbiome, which is something that Dr. J and I talked about all the time.
Well, in today's world, there's lots of information, right? And we just saw from Anne that she's been educated and she's looking at things like ivermectin and fenbendazole, which, are dewormers, right? They've been around since forever and they're very, very safe. Well, what you don't know about that is they don't always work in the human body. We can't just make a blanket statement like everybody should take ivermectin and
Exactly.
fenbendazole. I'm telling you right now, that's not the way you tackle this. It helps a lot of people and can be very, very powerful and literally turn diseases around. I've seen it. However, there are people that I've worked with that it doesn't work on them. And there's reasons for that. Sometimes you have what's called a milieu, right? These are parasites and fungus and bacteria that are literally making snot. Why are they doing that? So the immune system can't get at them. Okay, so if you're taking a drug and it doesn't get to the parasite, it's not going to work. So sometimes you need enzymes. Sometimes you need specific types of biological markers that are going to destroy the milieu, tear off the covering, rip off their armor so that those drugs, those herbs can do what they're supposed to do. So there's a lot of information you may not be getting. And then to allude to what Dr. Houston just said, not only with the vagus nerve is that in spinal health, but it is your microbiome of your gut as well. It's called the second brain for a reason. It's a gut feeling for a reason because it's connected to your brain. So if your gut is bad, your brain is bad. That's exactly what happens. So, when we're looking at things like depression and anxiety and dementia, I'm going after the gut. I'm not saying to go after the head. You're in the wrong place. People say, well, I'm depressed and my doctor told me that I'm low on, certain hormones like serotonin. And I look and I go, where is serotonin made? I don't know. Well, 90% of it's made in your gut. So if you're depressed and you don't have enough serotonin, should we treat the head? Or do you go after the gut? So everybody with depression, I don't care who they are, they come to see me, I'm working on the gut and the depression gets better. So there's a lot of information out there, but make sure that you're bringing that information to people like us who are a little more experienced. That's not to be ego. I just want you to tell you there's a lot to consider before you start throwing out statements like that. But thank you for that, and stay educated, because those drugs are very, very powerful. They should become over-the-counter medications. It should be mandatory. You should be able to get those dewormers anywhere. You can go to Fleet Farm and get it for your horse. Why can't you get it for yourself? It doesn't make any sense. So the point is, that there are forces at work that are trying to stop these things from getting into our hands. But make sure that you're talking to some professionals like us that can look at all the possible applications that are connected to parasites and bacteria and fungus. Don't make blanket statements. That's where everything gets hazy. Understand it can be complex. The beauty is when we do these scans is it goes right to the source of where you're stuck. Then we know what to do. And that you're not getting anywhere. That's not happening. I don't care where you go, you're not getting that. I was just on the phone this morning before this call with a lady, and she was just absolutely blown away by the scan. She's like, I can't believe how deep this is. There's so much information. I've spent hours on it. I've learned things about myself I never knew. And I said, now you're one of the few that gets it. You're taking that information, you're applying it to yourself, and try to understand how you can create a healthier lifestyle, a healthier environment, less stress, more prayer. It's pretty simple. And that affects 90% of everything that ever happens to you. That's it. I mean, wow, if you're not doing this, I don't know what do I got to do? Come grab you by the shoulders and shake you? Listen to what we're saying. We're not here to make money. We're not here to try to get your money. We're not trying to do things like that. We're trying to help you. Dr. Houston and I, we're doing this because we want to. We're doing this because we want to help the ministry. Okay, we believe in Christ. That's where we're at. We're warriors. But we got to pay bills like anybody. And nothing's free. But you can pay now or pay later. The average bypass in this country runs $165,000 without insurance. You got insurance, it's much higher.
Number one cause of bankruptcy.
When you have a heart attack, because you're going to lose your house. So anyway, you got to do something now. Go ahead, Doug.
Sorry. Medical expenses is the number one cause for bankruptcy in our country.
Even with insurance.
Yes, even with insurance. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Be careful, so you might have to spend a little money out of pocket day by day to eat healthier. Most of my customers come back to me and say, Dr. J, since I've been seeing you, my grocery bill went up, 100%. Yeah, because everything you're buying is rotting. What you were buying before had a shelf life of 99 years. And they're like, you're right. I go, which is cheaper? So yeah, you're going to pay more for good, healthy food. You're going to pay more for good, healthy supplements, but it's going to give you longevity in the end. So you're not getting killed on these huge, expensive disease bills. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma can run you $500,000. And if you think insurance is going to cover all that, where have you been in the last 20 years? Because it's being taken away from you. So, we got to start being proactive is what we're saying.
Right. And I don't know where down the pike we learned or we expected that the insurance company would pay for all of our, it's really an oxymoron. They don't pay for health care. They pay for disease care.
Correct.
So basically you can't just hand them the card and expect it just shows our cultural we have to rethink everything because of what our values are. It's really great to have a Gucci belt and a Louis Vuitton bag, but if you don't have your health and people, like as a chiropractor, sometimes people expect me to do it for nothing. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't come into your store and expect you to give me your your items, I wouldn't take them off your shelf. And it's not that my care is worth more than your item. It's that unless you have skin in the game, unless you're laying down something of value of yourself, you aren't going to get the results you want. You really don't. And just because your symptoms go away or your insurance card says, oh, I only get 10 visits with the chiropractor. Well, then you sit down with your chiropractor and you say, look, I want this care. I want to get it taken care of. And I only have this much. And, I mean, 3 times a week at $65 or $60, it's a lot of money, especially if you have a family. But you know what? Maybe you need to look at who you're seeing as a chiropractor. There are cash practitioners out there like myself who would make arrangements with you because we want to see the masses. We want to see more people healthy. They have done studies and they can tell you, actuaries can tell you your life expectancy based on your environment and based on certain labs. Well, we don't need to go into that realm or depth, but the research is in. If you're not actually taking proactive and taking responsibility for your health, you're not gonna have a longevity worth talking about because you're going to be sick and then your quality of life is gone. So
I believe that we have to look at it like this. We spend millions of dollars making the outer man look good.
Oh yeah.
And we can spend on, and if we were smart, we would only spend maybe $100 or $1,000 to make the inner man be healthy. And so our priorities is not together. And so when we're looking at our body, right, we have to look at our body. Okay, if I want my outer person to look good, I got to take care of the inner person, because if the inner person is not healthy, if my organs is not together, my body is not functioning the way God designed it to function,
right?
I don't care how good I look on the outside, I'll drop dead in a heartbeat.
Right.
But if my inner man, for example, I met a lady. Y'all don't know this, but we opened up a new colony of Kingdom citizens in Hartford, Wisconsin.
Wow. Congratulations.
And I met a lady, 92 years old, still driving, still running, still doing everything. That lets me know that's a sign of a person who took care of the inner person. And then I see a 40-year-old who got to catch their breath, just go up some stairs.
Isn't that interesting?
So if we don't sit down with our loved ones and say, let's look at the priority of life. And the priority of life is taking care of the inner me, right? Mm-hmm. Making sure my lungs, making sure my heart, making sure my kidney, making sure my liver, making sure my blood flow is going through, making sure my spine is okay. Because if my spine starts to, if the nerve system that's around my spine is not operating correctly, then I'm gonna break down. So what do I need to do to make myself be more healthier? Here come the personal responsibility again. I gotta make sure I'm healthy. Y'all can tell me everything to do to be healthy, but it still falls on me if I want to follow through so I can be healthy.
Correct.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
And just to have, if you, not that I have anything against Walmart, but if you don't know where your supplements are coming from, or if you have osteoporosis, you might think you need to drink milk. Well, milk is not the best. That's not the best place to get calcium at all. At all. So what the scanner does is helps us to identify what your needs are. You might need kidney support. You may not need calcium. Your kidneys might need help. But how would you know that? Because we have a tendency also in our culture to take, certain types of ailments and translate, instead of taking drugs, we want to take red rice yeast extract to bring down our cholesterol. but that may not be the ultimate origin of the problem. That might be an effect of another issue. And that's where working with a professional like us and using the scanner can help to specifically hone in on what's the most important thing to start with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always tell people that one of the things you want to know is a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And one of the things that I see when we run consecutive scans is you start seeing where the weak links are, where people are either genetically or lifestyle or environmental or stress weak. And if we can take your weakness and make it your strength, then the chain becomes stronger. The longevity, the quality of life, your happiness, all of that improves. So it is personal responsibility. It takes personal responsibility to follow Christ. It takes personal responsibility to treat your body like a temple that God, and that's the one thing that if you can think every day is, God gave me this body as a temple. I need to treat it as such. You would think twice before you start putting questionable foods in your mouth or toxins or chemicals or poisons. They're all around. We can't escape everything. There's a reason why people are sick, okay? And it starts from the womb up, okay? There are over 150 different chemicals that have been found in umbilical blood in newborns. Over 150 different EPA-listed poisons have been found in umbilical blood in babies. We have babies that are now being born toxic. So you don't get a good start that way. And then if they're, unfortunately, a C-section, they're not breastfed, they're pumped full of antibiotics, and you start giving them questionable infant formulas, which are now all under the microscope, and they're finding all kinds of nasty things in them. You start realizing that we're not starting out so good. We're not starting out so good. So that's part of what, CHARISSE and I and David are all trying to say is, look, there are things that we can do. There are things that we know. There are things that we can help you with, that we can change. And when we do that, the outcome changes. Let's give those kids a chance. Let's give you a chance. You got to start putting things in your body to fortify you. You got to start putting things in your body to help you detox. So you got to cleanse, you got to build, you got to activate. Okay. This is human life. There is not one structure in your body older than 7 years. There is no hair, no skin, no nail, no bone, no cell older than 7 years in your body right now. Nothing. Which means we're constantly tearing tissue down and rebuilding. About 7 years. So if you did everything right today that we're telling you to do, and you got on a plan and you get started, it could take 7 years to build a brand new you. So you're not going to fix disease in 7 minutes. And that's where you have to understand. And if you're trying to prevent problems, wouldn't it be a great idea to have a scan and see where you're weak? Then we can make recommendations on what you should do to strengthen it. Therefore, may you never know the disease you prevent. If you go through life without diabetes or cancer, you're going to thank us. And you can do that. That's possible. But you need help. You need direction. You need a compass. We're the compass. That's all. We're just going to point you in the right direction. It's up to you to do it. I can't come to your house and buy your groceries for you. You have to take responsibility. But you need help. You need coaching. Let us coach you. That's what we're here for. Okay. It's not difficult.
It's an investment in your health, your longevity. And if you're going to live long, you want to live healthy so you can do all the things that God has for you to do. I mean, I really just really want to, that 92-year-old lady, I should say 92-year young lady. I listen to people all the time say, oh, it's old age that I've got this crick or whatever. I'm like, that was just really, be careful for your words, because you want to cancel that, because it's not old age, it's poor function.
Yes.
Poor choices. So we got to watch those words, because our words become flesh. And then, working with people that have an understanding of that is priceless. I know that for myself, I want to go to places where people are healing. People are using protocols. I'm always learning. Dr. J is always learning. We're always wanting to reach out to for more understanding, so we can be better servants, because we're here to serve. That's our calling. So,
absolutely. Yeah, we're here for you.
One of y'all want to touch on the question on the screen?
Well, I'll start.
Yeah.
Would you teach what the scan is and where to go for it? Absolutely. You are in the right company. You can call Dr. J or myself once you're a member of the kingdom. And we will and are able to guide you through Zoom to do a scan. But what in essence it is it's a very advanced piece of technology based on frequency. Everything in life is based on frequency. There are frequencies that are very high, such as love, and the lowest frequency, hatred. There's studies that were done on this that demonstrate the differences in the frequencies, and our cells vibrate. Healthy cells vibrate at a frequency also.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
basically, your voice is also a frequency that is very specific to you, similar to your fingerprint. So when we are scanning you, we are actually asking you to talk for about 10 seconds. And within that 10 seconds, there's a frequency that the scanner picks up. And it's kind of like Tesla and Einstein got together and had a baby. It can go through your whole system and does go through your blood supply, your brain, the nervous system, any food sensitivities. If you have imbalances with sugar metabolism, your gut microbiome, your energy centers, it even addresses meridians from the Chinese, with Chinese medicine to find out where you are emotionally, physically, etc. So it gives us a really great baseline to help and guide you in terms of that frequency, and then give you a report, a starting place, if you will, and also through another frequency, different frequencies send you a recipe to help you elevate your frequencies to bring healthier vibration into your body, your mind, and your spirit. Dr. J, you want to add to that?
Yeah, that's a lot. Bottom line, like she said, is your voice is like a fingerprint. It's very unique to you, and embedded in your voice are frequencies, and they go all the way down to your genetic level. The scan is 95% accurate. It's used at Cleveland Clinic. It's used at the Mayo Clinic. However, they don't use it like we do. They use it to push drugs and surgery. We use it to identify where you can change your lifestyle, what stress is doing to you, what the environmental influences are on you. Those are the things that we can point out. You change them, then it changes the outcome of where you're going, about what's going to happen to you or what has already happened. So it's very, very different. And it's very similar to almost like an MRI or a CAT scan. It's not a picture. It's looking in density. It's looking at vibrations throughout your body. Everything that God has created has an energy to it. Everything is God. That's the point. And so if we have negative vibrations, right? Like we talked about EMFs on this show, right? Electromagnetic frequencies that come from cell towers and cell phones and radios and all this different stuff we're being bombarded with. And it disrupts us at the cellular level. You can't go to your doctor and get a test for that. Hey, hi, doctor. I want to know if EMFs are affecting me. The doctor's going to look at, what? We don't have a test for that. Why don't you? Because they do. All the science is there. It's disrupting our DNA. It's microwaving our brains. Kids are walking around with these little earbuds in their head. Why don't you just put a microwave on the side of your head? It's the same thing. And we expect that to not hurt us. I'm not going to wait 40 years for some study to come out and tell me that cell phones are dangerous. We already know they are. So the point is, what are you doing to offset the danger? That's what we see with these scans. Like, hey, you need to get a diode. You need to get something to disrupt this. You need to be taking more antioxidants or you're going to pay. Don't find out the hard way that we're right. Because I see it every day. I've done over 26,000 customers in my career. That's a lot of people. And I've learned a few things, is that there are a lot of things that they don't know that are harming them. And you can't expect your government to tell you what it is. Good luck with that. So what you got to do is find out where the imbalances are. That's what the scan does. It's going to do that. It's going to say, this is an area that needs help. You're either in the middle or you're up or you're down. That's it. You either have hypertension, hypotension. You either have hot flashes, you have cold flashes. Which one do you got? I know people have both. Well, the problem is we got to change that in your body, reset the body. And that's what we're doing with the suggestions, recommendations that we do. Then we can scan and see that it went away. So what do you have? You have visual proof every time we do a scan. We're giving you the scan. We don't hang on to it. We give it to you. You can look at it. You can read it for yourself. You can interpret it yourself. You can call us and ask questions. Learn about your body. Learn about chemistry. Learn about the environment. Learn about stress. And you're going to find out that there are many things you could be doing other than, I'll just take this medication and go about my way, and wonder why you're still sick. So the technology is here. It's up to you to use it. These things are not, cheap. It can run anywhere from $150 a month to own one to $30,000 to buy one. So we can't do it for free. Okay. So there's a question after we become members, we get the telemedicine appointment set up. Is something we can do on our phone or computer, or do we go somewhere for the scan? No, we send the scan to you in real time as we're talking to you. It comes right to you. We don't hide anything. You get all of it. You paid for it, you get it. And embedded in that scan are other options. There's something called Inner Voice, which actually plays embedded healing music that works on your alpha, your beta, your theta, and your delta brain waves. I have people that have gotten off anxiety medication just listening to the tones, to the music. I've had people that fall asleep to it all the time, people that are relaxed for the first time in forever, listening to the music we give you. So it's not about just taking supplements. There's all kinds of different applications. And as CHARISSE mentioned, it can even tell you where you're stuck emotionally. It can help you stuck where you are mentally. Even what's going on inside of you, right? We need to know what's going on inside of you. Work from the inside out. That's what God taught us, right? Work from the inside out. Starts with your faith, and you go from there. So that's what the scan is doing. All of the above. Have one. Check it out. See it for yourself. If you want, you can go to YouTube and type in AO scan. What does AO mean? It means optimization. That's all it means. We want to optimize you. If you don't want to be optimum, don't call us. You want to be suboptimum? Keep doing what you're doing.
What he said.
I know that part.
Pretty simple. I believe that in that product that much.
Absolutely.
I've been doing this 40 years, and I used to have to do iridology, muscle testing, all this ooga booga stuff, because I had no way to figure out what was going on with people, right? Because in natural medicine, we first do no harm. We don't cut you, poke you, prod you, bleed you, or make you pee. We don't want your fluids, okay? We don't want your blood. So we need to have a technique that can work with you to help us ascertain where you're weak. And this technology is the best technology I've ever seen in 40 years. If they're using it at the Mayo Clinic, it's not a joke.
And then based on what the findings are, if it is something that is cranial nerve oriented, we might give you exercises.
Yeah.
To disrupt that pattern. If it's, and the scan will actually show if you need to be adjusted by a chiropractor. It'll point out specific sections and levels that I find very interesting. And then also we will send you a link, and we ask that you tap on that link, and we will send you, if there are herbs, Chinese herbs or supplements to take, in order for us to really monitor and work with you and know the quality. We will absolutely be able to, with confidence, monitor this, your progress a whole lot more accurately if you're using the supplements that we're telling you. Why? Because I have yet to see in all my 33 years in my career, of a company that is so rigid in their testing for purity. And that's what you want. You don't want to take a supplement that your body's not going to be able to use. You want to use something that is going to become immediately bioavailable, we call it. So the body, the liver can take that and do what it needs to do so that you can start getting the effects, and very rapidly and very cleanly, because there's a lot of products out there. They can put natural on the label. It has nothing to do with how clean the product is.
I'll tell you how powerful this scan is. I had 2 examples. I'll share it really quick because people, like to hear testimonies. I had a massage therapist that came to me, and she was having a problem in her groin, which is not a place, most of us will massage, right? But she knew she needed help, and she couldn't figure out where this problem was coming, and it was going down her hip, causing her all kinds of problems. So I ran a scan, and under the comprehensive, and it showed me this little teeny tiny muscle about this big. I won't go into the anatomy, but basically it was right around her acetabulum, which is in her hip. And I stuck my finger in there, and she about came off the chair. And I said, well, I guess we figured out what it was. And once we massaged that, the whole leg got better, the spine got better, and she was going less chiropractic care. So sometimes it's a little bitty tiny thing that nobody would have ever found. We found that on a scan. And another lady, that chiropractor was running her up and down with, and no disrespect to your user, but you'll appreciate this. $65 a pop 5 times a week, and she wasn't getting any better. I ran a scan and showed that her pelvis was tilted. The symphysis pubis was the problem. So we sent her to another chiropractor who adjusted that in one treatment. All of her problems stopped that day. So that's how powerful the scan can be. Sometimes even the best doctors aren't looking in the right place. Sometimes, even with all of our level of experience, we just can't figure out what's going on, right? And so the scan gives us clues. And that's the beauty of it when you see things like that, even from a mechanical standpoint. That's pretty cool. Do you know how long Mayo's been using this technology? That's probably, I would say, in the last 2 years. Cleveland's been using it for about a year. And the reason they're using it is because they can see heart attacks before they happen. You want me to repeat that?
Yeah.
You wonder if you should get a scan. I'm telling you, it saves lives. Sometimes you can see things and you can change your lifestyle. Sometimes it's serious. I've said to people already, I've looked at their scans. I said, you need to get to a doctor ASAP. Not that I'm not a doctor, but they need emergency care outside of what I can do with natural health. And if it saves a life, it was worth the scan. So sometimes there may be things happening to you you're not aware of. But if you find out about them early enough and tackle them, they never become a big issue. So
the problem becomes it's the old, what comes first, the malfunction or the symptom? Symptoms are the last thing that show up,
right,
and the first thing that go away. But doesn't mean the problem has been completely resolved just because the symptom is gone. That's not an accurate assessment of whether or not the problem has been resolved.
So
you have to be able to delineate between those things as well. So
yeah, so things like that happen every day to us, Dr. Houston and I. It happens every day. We see these things every day, and there are things that we both know, being doctors, that we look at and go, "This person's got to change this ASAP, or it's not going to turn out good." And what is that worth? What is that information worth? What if you didn't have to go through a surgery? What if you didn't have to have a stroke? What if you didn't have to have a heart attack? What if you didn't have to be injected with needles every day? Start now. Just start.
Right.
That's all we ask. Just start. And if you don't like it, walk away. You don't like this technology, walk away. I don't care. Your life. But if you want help, please give us a call. We're here at a discount. We do this out of the charity of our hearts because we want to help God's children. We believe if you belong to Kingdom Ministries, you've got Christ in your heart, and we will do everything we can to help you. Of course, you are brothers and sisters. We're all in this together, okay?
Absolutely.
So let me just say, if you call the number on the screen, I'll explain to you how you get in hold to the doctors, how to become a member of Kingdom Ecclesia, which gives you the opportunity to become part of the Kingdom Holistic Health Ministries. where you can get the discounts dealing with these awesome doctors. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. One thing I love about these doctors, they just like me. We don't sugarcoat nothing.
100%.
We tell it like it is, whether you want to hear it or not. We're gonna do our job and to tell you. And let me put in the disclosure. I am a spiritual doctor. I am not a medical doctor. I don't have the doctor degrees that these two lovely people have. My degree is in theology. My job is to make sure the spirit man is in alignment with God. Their job is to make sure everything else with the spirit man is aligned with God. So don't nobody go around talking about Dr. King is running around trying to be a medical doctor. That is not me.
No.
I bring the experts in to work with me. So while I'm dealing with you spiritually, they dealing with you on all the other two, mentally and physically. So this is why we do what we do, and we do it because we care about you. And so if you don't care about you, then we can't help you. But we care about you.
Exactly.
Well, with all the information that's coming out more and more through our Health and Human Services and Bobby Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, exposing all the things that we've been preaching about for years, like seed oils and how sugar is inflammatory and artificial sweeteners, and glyphosate and all the things. I mean, I really feel like now is the time. You're really at a great place to step in and just take control and take your health back. And we are just thrilled to be able to help you. We're not going to, like Dr. King said, Jay and I will not sugarcoat it. We will tell you it out. And if you're not serious about it, we're not going to try to convince you. It's your health. You only have one life at this point here. So we want to make sure that it's one that we can do and help you with to create the healthiest, most vibrant health for you and your family. And I'm not sure if you've worked with any animals yet, Jay, but they've got the programs also for dogs. So for animals, which is a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother avenue, which we could do a whole show on that as well, but not today. However, this life, it's all about leaving a legacy. And what did you do? How did you serve? And this is our way of serving, because we have such a passion for the truth and for helping people and for the Lord. We really want to be good stewards. So I know that when I was driving home yesterday from Philadelphia, we were looking to stop somewhere to get something healthy to eat. Well, you've got to do better planning than that, because there are no healthy fast food places that you can get in and out of when you're driving.
Right.
They're even finding Chick-fil-A has got issues with seed oil and the quality of their chicken. And I was really bummed to hear that. I've also heard things about other food chains, and we know that McDonald's, what used to be 3 ingredients on the French fries is now 11, which is not even legal in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be better planners. You have to be more mindful in the kitchen.
It is changing, though.
It is.
Yeah. Down here in Florida, Steak and Shake, right?
Beef tallow, I heard.
Yeah, they went to beef tallow in their French fries, and they also are going to grass-fed burger now. And they're removing anything that's questionable. They have really made an effort to do that. And what's interesting is last time I went past one, there was a line to get in there. So people want this. They want all this garbage taken out of their lives, right?
That's right.
So we're here to help you figure out where that's coming from. And there's a lot of things that are still hidden, and there's a lot of things that are going to affect your body. Your body is uniquely individual. Therefore, it's not one size fits all. I don't care. That's why, we don't talk a lot about remedies on this show, because people misconstrue that, right? Like today, I talked about kidney cancer using pawpaw and something called SEACT. I don't want people thinking that that'll cure every cancer there is. There's no such thing, okay? You're individual. You're unique. I said this before. You're a snowflake. There's no one like you. And that's why I love what we do, because Dr. CHARISSE and myself, we spent a lot of time studying various application and arts to natural healing and understanding that you are unique and therefore what works for one doesn't work for all. So stop trying to do this cookie cutter stuff and understand that you need someone to look at you with a microscope and say, hey, you are unique and you've got some issues here that are different from the next person. Therefore, you probably have to do this instead of that. That's what's powerful, is when we can help you figure that out. And that's the biggest blessing you get every single day, is that the herbs will work, but they may not work for every person the same way. And therefore, we have to help you figure out which ones you're taking and why. That's what we're here for.
Right.
So,
and also I know in a lot of our discussions, because sometimes we collaborate on patients, on clients, and is it more important to go after the parasites or to build the immunity? And if you're going after, not everybody can handle a parasite cleanse, because you got to make sure that those portals are open and functioning. Otherwise, you can make someone sicker. And so, we want to make sure, because I was always, hey, I think I should go after the parasites here. What do you think?
well, the best time to go after parasites is the full moon.
Full moon. That's exactly right.
I usually don't even start paracleanses with people until it's a full moon.
Right.
Is that it? There's a lot of people that are going, what?
That's something. Oh my God! So that's going to be on the next show, because you guys can open that up, and oh my God!
Oh, you could do a whole show on just cleansing.
Do a whole show on parasites. That's for sure.
I know, especially talking about full moon. Okay, so that's something that, wow. But I got to keep y'all on schedule. We at that, because I know y'all got a busy schedule already. So y'all know how we do it. Ladies first. So there you go.
I'm Dr. CHARISSE Houston. It's my total honor and pleasure to be able to share with you things that are really very powerful in terms of the world of healing and creating vibrant health and life. You should be living a joy-filled life. Doesn't mean it'll always be simple. As a matter of fact, Jesus said, I didn't ever say it was going to be easy, but you got to be able to decipher what is going to be beneficial and what is not. And I'd love the opportunity to work with you online if that's possible, or I'm in Tennessee. And just really honored and blessed to be here. And thank you, Dr. King and Dr. J. Always a pleasure to share.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy lives to come listen to us talk. And thank you for those that submitted questions. I really appreciate that, because that generates a really good discussion. So keep that coming. If you like this show, please invite other people. And as I said today, just start.
Right.
Start, okay? Just do something. Just start. I implore you. Thank you for listening.
All right, everybody. So we thank you guys for tuning in, listening. I think I'm the biggest student, because I learn more every time, and they always taking food away from me too. So
we're replacing it with good stuff.
You are replacing it with good stuff, but I'm a good student, because I learned to walk in obedience, and so. But I just want to thank you guys, and I want to thank everybody that's been listening, and thank you for the awesome questions. I inboxed you and was watching from LinkedIn. So and just give me a call. I can show you how to become a member of Kingdom Ecclesia, and then you will be a member of the Kingdom Holistic, and you will be able to get the discount rates. And so, and I heard she said she cared for all of people of Wisconsin. So, and share the word. We get more people on the show to ask questions. And these doctors, I'm telling you, we're doing the show on that full moon cleansing. I really want to know that one.
Okay.
Well, the farmers will plant also. Certain farmers will only plant on a full moon, certain types of things. So there's a lot to that, actually.
Oh my God. See, we're going to learn, y'all. We're going to learn together. So I want to thank everybody again for being with us. Until next time, we say God bless.